Hello, I am Sid Goyle, and this is my physics personal project on magnetic levitation trains, or Maglev for short. Over the course of the project, I would like to examine these Maglev trains in depth and determine how they work, along with building not one, but two models of my own to showcase exactly how they work in a manner that is more easy to comprehend. The end goal of this project is to develop an in-depth understanding of the workings of maglev trains, along with a blog recording my progress. Firstly, what is a maglev train? Well, magnetic levitation trains were first developed in 1984 in Birmingham, England. The train was made to connect the airport to the international railway station as an efficient way to transport many people. After its completion and opening in 1984, different countries began testing and doing research on their own models of more efficient maglev trains. Why maglev trains though? How are they different from any other type of train? Well, the beauty behind this type of train is that not only is it incredibly energy efficient, but it also operates with very little friction. This means that it can travel at speeds attainable by no other type of train. In fact, the Shanghai maglev train can reach speeds up to 430 kilometers per hour. This is because the only force acting against a maglev train is air resistance, which a regular train faces anyways. Now, how exactly do maglev trains work? Well, Jesse Powell, son of maglev inventor James Powell, pictured here, once said that, quote, "It's just a box with 4 magnets on the corners instead of wheels," end quote. This is the main gist of it, although it is slightly more complicated. Maglev trains use superconducting magnets, which are cooled to 450 degrees Fahrenheit below zero, and generate magnetic fields up to 10 times stronger than that of an electromagnet, which is enough to suspend and propel a train. The train is able to hover using the like poles of the magnets, which are strong enough to support up to 1,000 people. The trains themselves move by creating a magnetic field consisting of an opposite and like pole combination. There are evenly spaced north and south poles that attract the north poles on the train itself and repel the south poles on the train, and vice versa. The beauty of this method is that the train is going fast enough to not get stuck in a pair of like and equal magnets, which is a problem I encountered with my model, but more on that later. The beauty of this method, though, is that the train will not go off course, simply because it's not able. Every time it is to shift, it instead is pushed back by more magnetic resistance, which is not like friction in that it slows down the train, but is more assistive than anything else. Next, I'm going to be discussing my models. So, as I said at the beginning, I created 2 different models of maglev trains to demonstrate their properties. My initial plan was to create one working model, but due to the problems that I encountered, I had to create 2 distinct models that work separately, but together showcase the full ability of a maglev train. The model I was to make was essentially a maglev train. A car consisting of 4 magnets in the corners would glide across a surface of alternating magnets, north and south. However, this did not work due to the car not being able to reach a high enough speed and always getting stuck on the magnets that attracted it. I then was able to research and found a model that showcased the workings of magnetic fields and turned my large initial product into a demonstration of the hovering portion. This way, I had 2 products, one for each of the 2 main parts of what makes a magnetic levitation train function. The first model that I created used a total of 84 separate neodymium magnets that were separated and placed on 2 different strips of magnetic tape, which was glued to a base of 2x4 plank of wood. I then created a car that represents the maglev train and allowed it to hover off the ground to show the hovering potential that a maglev train has. All of the magnets at the bottom are north side upwards, while the magnets on the car are north side downwards. This means that they repel each other, and the force of repulsion is enough to work against the force of gravity to hover about 2 to 3 centimeters off the ground. The second model that I made use of copper wire, which was measured out and twisted into a circle, and a battery, to which 2 neodymium magnets were attached to either side. The battery is able to go through the copper wire similarly to how a maglev train is able to go across the tracks. The difference here is that the battery uses the magnets in the wire to create a circuit, which then creates a magnetic field, rather than magnets using other magnets to create a magnetic field. This model, though, is able to showcase the movement using magnetics more than my initial products could, so it is still a good showcase of maglev's abilities. Overall, maglev trains are extremely effective and efficient, the only downside being the cost. They are extremely expensive to build due to the high prices of the superconducting magnets used. As an example, the aforementioned Shanghai Maglev cost over $1.2 billion US to build and only generates about $27 million US in revenue annually, which is not accounting for the decrease in travel due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Although this transportation is very interesting, it is not likely that it will make its way to Canada in the near future. Although, Mr. Powell and his partners are looking into creating more cheap and cost-effective magnetic levitation technology. So there is still hope yet. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.